What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm Nick the Oklahomie.
And I'm Ellie the Witch.
And on this episode, we are going to be covering, we're technically entering the spooky segment of our segment, at least. Actually, the whole NFA network, we're entering the spooky season of it. And I'm going to take the lead of this because, unfortunately, my co-host, Ellie, is, as she said earlier, hungover as Dick.
Correct. I went to breweries yesterday for my sister and best friend's sisters. So technically my other best friend. It's the whole thing. Anyway, so we went to breweries yesterday and I found a beer that tasted exactly how Yankee Candle's pumpkin spice candle smells. And I had entirely too many of them because they were tall boys and I was drinking all day. And now I'm full of spice and nothing nice.
So you're not a Powerpuff Girl?
No.
No.
I'm a Powerpuff puffball mushroom. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm a big ball of mush right now.
I'm a big ball of mush. It's spoopy season. It is, as we're recording this, October 1st. So, we're kicking off the holiday season right. And, yeah.
I think
we're going down. Go ahead.
Oh, no. All I was going to say is, and I didn't mean to cut you off, is just that we've already made this very well established from, at least between me, you, and Zaga, that we are all spooky season sluts because this is one of our favorite seasons. The weather is nice. The weather.
The weather is so delightful. I'm sick slut. You do this every year.
I channeled my inner Mike Tyson there for a second. The weather is nice. The movies are spooky. The candy is delicious. And I am a candy corn person, by the way.
Oh, I love candy corn.
Thank you.
Tell me you like the the harvest mix where it's got a little bit of
pumpkin and the caramel ones.
Pumpkins,
yes.
The caramel ones, the toffee, or not toffee. They're the chocolate corns. Those are my shit. Those are my fucking shit. I don't care what anybody says. Nope. Peeps, however, can get fucked.
I have to be in the mood for Peeps, but I mean, more or less, candy corn is the way to go. I don't care what anyone says.
100%. I eat an entire handful, and I hate myself after, and so do my teeth. But we make sacrifices.
Absolutely.
100%.
So on this episode, since we're kicking off spooky season, we figured we're going to keep the episodes kind of spooky per se and stuff like that. And so Ellie and I kind of brainstormed, and I kind of dove a little bit deeper into it. And one that kind of kicked off in 2009 was a big internet craze, or at least where it started. And that is, I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and just say the name right off the bat. I think what I'll kind of we'll describe this mythical creature. And he is a fictional supernatural character and is depicted as a tall, thin humanoid. I mean, if you say humanoid, you automatically think of an alien, or at least I think so.
100% alien.
With a featureless white head and face, wearing a black suit. So, I mean, he's very dapper.
He's so dapper.
So dapper.
So well dressed.
But he can,
I mean, you have to be.
Well,
when you're luring children.
Luring children and the naive and stuff. So it's almost like a Hansel and Gretel in a sense. I mean, pandering to children.
Kind of.
If I never thought about that until now. But apparently he can stretch or shorten his arms at will. So he's kind of like a Mr. He's like a Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, or a Stretch Armstrong, if you will. Yeah, and so Stretch Armstrong, so that's a better understanding.
Correct. I mean, I knew Mr. Fantastic as well, but
I think Stretch Armstrong is a better description of him.
Do you remember Salad Fingers?
God, yes.
Okay, so in my brain, this individual is a combination of Mr. Fantastic and Salad Fingers.
That is a good description of we're just gonna go of Slenderman, and that's
Slenderman.
If you haven't guessed, like as soon as we said the white featureless face and head and all that, it's Slenderman. Then I mean, you've been living.
If you didn't get it as soon as we said tuxedo and luring children in, there's something wrong with you. Go to the internet more. Waste more of your life. Honestly.
Well, to be fair, you can't say a man wearing a tuxedo luring children, because if you think of people in the government or in like any other, I mean, men in suits can lure children pretty much anywhere because we live in a fucked up world.
That's true. We could always ask Ashton Kutcher how he feels about that now
This
that
is
him
true.
and Mila Kunis have stepped down.
This is true.
That's for another episode because
Yes,
I
it
have
is.
theories on that.
Y'all be looking forward to that episode. So,
But anyway,
Slenderman originated as a quote unquote creepypasta internet meme, and we all know that being a millennial and even Gen Z, we'll throw in Gen X just for shits and giggles, love memes. It is pronounced, and full
it is
disclosure,
not a meme.
it is. Thank
It is
you.
a meme.
It is meme, and if you pronounce it as meme, go ahead and jump off the bridge. Go talk to Slenderman and just go be part of that, because that is where you belong, and you do not belong in this partially civilized society. I wanted to watch my words there for a second. We are not
We are not civilized.
We are not civilized. But
we are society, but we're not civilized.
It was an internet.
Sir.
It was an internet meme created by Something Awful Forum user Eric Knudsen in 2009. It became a frightening folktale whispered among the American youths. And we are going to dive into this. And it was after two 12-year-olds attempted to murder their very close friend.
As a sacrifice.
And just like
they needed that virgin blood.
They did, apparently. And
I guess they weren't good enough.
No. I don't want to. No, I'm not touching that one. Not touching that one. But before we dive a little bit further into it, to give like a brief timeline along with the description of Slenderman, it started in 2009 by Eric Knudsen on Something Awful Forum, which I don't even think that forum even exists anymore.
Well, so it actually started off as a Photoshop challenge.
Right, on the same forum.
Right. Because the idea of it was to take like your everyday, like just cute little pictures and like add something creepy into the background. So what this individual ended up doing was, I actually have the picture pulled up right in front of me. It's a really cute black and white picture of like kids on a playground, and there's a little girl, I think it's his daughter. She's on a slide, and it's an adorable picture. And then in the background, you just see a stretched out humanoid figure with weird little salad fingers. It's very strange, and I don't like it. I don't like it now one bit.
The spoons. Also, if you guys have not watched Salad Fingers, please just go do us a favor before hit pause on this video. Go to YouTube, open up another tab, whatever you need to do, and look up Salad Fingers, then come back to this to kind of get a better understanding of what's going on.
Correct. And also notable mention, drinking Baileys from a shoe. If you're going to go down the Salad Fingers route, you got to drink Baileys from a shoe.
Yeah, you got to go find old Greg.
Yep.
But to fast forward on the timeline is, like I said, it started in 2009 is when it was created. You fast forward to 2011, Tribute 12, which is a YouTube series, expanded on the whole Slenderman mythology and introduced like new characters. Now, I don't know personally who the new characters were or are, but I know that I thought Slenderman was a lone wolf operation, kind of like a Charles Manson per se, like just a puppet master, if you will.
Well, isn't that the same? Not to go completely off topic,
right.
But wasn't Slenderman and like the pasta like dude kind of in that same universe, if you will, like the flying spaghetti monster? That's what it was. So I don't know if that was part of like the Slenderman thing, or if that was just its own separate Pastafarian thing. But
that's a good point.
The recesses of my brain remember them being in the same time zone.
So I think that's right, because I think when I was I dove a little bit more into this, is that did come across, and I think like it was a tangent of the creepypasta monster or creepypasta, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Here, let me see. Flying Spaghetti Monster origin. Oh no, the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster began in 2005 by Bobby Henderson, who sent a letter to the Kansas Board of Education debating the inconclusiveness of intelligent design theories in high school classes on evolution. So it was basically just kind of a fuck you to the church. Had nothing to do with Slenderman.
Okay. Well,
now we know.
Now we know. So fast forward now to 2012, which is when Slenderman starts to gain a little bit more traction, and they started when they started doing the YouTube series, they started doing like short films. They made a video game called Slender: The 8 Pages, which popularizes Slenderman as a horror icon, which I personally wouldn't say Slenderman is a horror icon per se. Does he fit into the realm of horror in a sense, or I would put him more in like the urban legend, actually.
But I mean, if you think about it, like Blair Witch is like an urban legend, and I would consider that to be like a horror icon. I think for us, Slenderman isn't really as an icon
Mm-hmm.
because we were a little bit older as Slenderman was making
It's
his like
rounds.
debut.
Yeah. Okay, you know, that's a
So
good
I
point.
I think for the purposes of this conversation, he is a horror icon for the Reddit like world because that is kind really where it started was Reddit
Mm-hmm. Fucking
and
Reddit.
DeviantArt, but
Reddit be starting a lot of shit.
Reddit is fucking wild, bro. Wild.
I can't tell you the
I
last
still
time
have
I've
a
been on
Reddit.
Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit in like years, and I still get like see like people like posting Reddit forums and stuff like that, and it's like it is some off the wall shit. And I mean that's where a lot of people even like find like people like hitmans and stuff like that to kill their spouse and stuff like
Oh yeah.
that.
I use Reddit for all of my like research if I'm trying to find something and be covert about it
Mm-hmm.
because
It's
it's
like the
got
dark web.
proxies and stuff. Yeah, it really is. And there's very specific like Reddit rooms that you can go into that
Mm-hmm.
have proxies on them so nobody can trace where you're at.
So like a whole like different VPN and stuff like that.
Yep. You need like a special
Wow.
password and whatnot to access them, but yeah, it's crazy.
That okay.
Anywho.
For everyone, please tread carefully through Reddit. If you were going to go through Reddit after this episode, please tread carefully because you might find how much you're worth on Reddit.
I can
Um,
tell you how much a kidney's worth because I found it on Reddit.
and this is why Reddit can sometimes be useful.
Correct. You can sell a kidney for like 10 G's
She,
as long as it's halfway healthy.
oh, you know, I have 2 kidneys and both of them are healthy.
I really only need one.
I only need one.
Guess how much an ovary is worth?
It's something I can't provide.
Well, it's 30. So,
30 G's?
yep.
Jesus.
A human eyeball is 50.
I think a testicle is around that same price.
That checks.
I mean, anyways, back to the timeline.
Oh yeah.
Jump up 2 years, 2014. Slenderman stabbings occur in Wisconsin. Wisconsin of all fucking places.
You know what though? No, that 100% makes sense to me. Do you know why? Have you ever been to Wisconsin?
The furthest north I've been is Iowa.
There's nothing there.
Nothing is
Nothing.
they have cheese.
They literally cheese. That is it. There is literally like you look to one side, you see a barren field of trees. You look to the other side, there's cows. If you're lucky, you'll see like a possum or something. But like Wisconsin's just like empty as fuck. So these bitches had nothing better to do than to search the interwebs.
I know that they pronounce bag and bagel almost the same way. Bag and bagel.
Yeah, and this is why Wisconsin should just not be part of the United States of America.
Yeah, we should have sold them a long time ago.
We really should have. Canada should just take them.
Please. I mean, you already get cold, so I mean, just go ahead and take another one.
Exactly.
After the stabbings, sparking the controversy and media attention, around 2016 is when the Slenderman documentaries started, like, kind of just like getting pushed, like getting milked, like how Disney does, like every fucking like Star Wars thing, aside from very few. Exploring the motives and aftermath of the stabbing case that happened in Wisconsin, which there was like at least a handful of stabbings and stuff like that, or like attempted murders or even murders after those girls did what they did.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's I think at least 2, maybe 3 tops after that. And
Were they all sacrifices to the Slenderman?
Yeah, they all pretty much wanted to become part of his quote unquote proxy to get into his mansion and stuff like that, which
Okay, I just need to can we just make some correlations here for a second? So, if it pleases the court.
if it pleases
So let's think about this. So you have a fictional tale of a man or humanoid figure that you must make sacrifices to in order to make it into his kingdom. What does that sound like? Fucking Christians.
But they
You
don't
know,
sacrifice anybody.
they sacrificed a whole ass man. His name was Jesus.
I don't know much about religion, so I didn't know that.
Okay, that's fair. So anyway, I'm just saying, Stephen King and H.P. Lovecraft and all those people definitely be pulling some of their shit out of like the Bible.
I mean, okay.
There is a lot of correlations with some of this horror shit and like super radical Christian shit. But anywho, that's my soapbox for the day. Back to your timeline.
That was pretty much the end of the timeline. I mean, there was like one more like after the, what did I say, 2016? Yeah, in 2018, there was a movie for Slenderman that was released, and it got negative reviews, and it did so horribly in the box office. Which, granted, I think they tried to mimic like how you were saying earlier, like the whole Blair Witch vibe and stuff like that, but it completely bombed in the box office. Which I never watched the movie, so.
But it has Joey King in it. I love her. She's the actress. She was in like a bunch of new movies that came out, like Kissing Booth and shit. She's adorable. Yeah, it got a 2.5 rating.
Oh, geez. Okay. That I didn't know.
Well, I just looked it up because I had never seen it. It came out in 2018. And it takes place in Massachusetts.
Of course it does. Why would it not? There's witches up there, and then there's other mythology up there. I mean, I want to say the Blair Witch even happened up near there, and
I think the Blair Witch was New York, if I'm not mistaken. Blair Witch. Origins. From the Blair Township. Where the fuck is that?
The Blair.
It's in Michigan.
Michigan.
Yep.
I mean, close enough. Yeah.
Massachusetts, Michigan, same thing.
Same thing. 2 M's.
2 M's.
So, now that we've kind of got like the description of what Slenderman is, we kind of got the brief origin and the short timeline that he quote unquote lived, if he's not still out there actively. And I'm a big like cryptid person, like cryptoid, like Bigfoot, Loch Ness, stuff like that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
100% Wendigos exist, and all of Pennsylvania is full of shapeshifters.
Skinwalkers or shapeshifters?
They're like kind of the same thing, though, aren't they? Because
kind of like how Bigfoot has Yeti and Sasquatch and
right, like shapeshifters and the skinwalkers, they have to like change their forms to trick people, don't they?
Yeah.
They change their voices. I know that much.
Yeah, they mimic it like someone that you would know, or like something like that. Like it's to coerce you. That's the word I'm looking for. Coerce.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of the times people will mistake them for coyotes, because coyotes can sound like women screaming if they're mating season.
That's true.
So a lot of times people will hear it and think that there's coyotes in their yard, and then they like get bamboozled, and it's a shape-shifting cannibalistic being.
And then when you see it stand up, it looks like a fucking werewolf.
Yeah, for fucking real. Don't like them. I don't like them. Them and Wendigos freak me out.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
Don't like it.
No, I don't fuck with that. But so Slenderman, I guess, would fit like into like all of, not necessarily into that, but he would like a subcategory.
He's a cryptid, yeah.
Okay, so every being has like their own motives and stuff like that. So like we said, Slenderman originated in forums and stuff like that. So there was no actual evidence that he ever existed, but the intelligence of our nation and around the world, unfortunately, sees pictures with a Photoshop image and they instantly believe, oh yeah, hey, this is real, yada, yada, yada. And you know what? Some Photoshop is very hard to depict that it's false if it's real. And because, I mean, I've even fallen victim to the fact of I've seen Photoshop images and they're like, oh, fuck, this is real. And I ride that fucking high horse. I'm like, oh, fucking look at this. And then I get to make it look like a fucking dumbass after I get shown like, oh, no, it's nowhere near real.
I mean, Honestly, we've all been there.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the pictures that were circulating around of what's his nuts' penis rocket ship going up into the air, and then everyone was just like, "Oh, this is a direct energy beam hitting Maui," when it was really just a rocket like going up into the sky.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
I
that one
forgot.
got me. It had me feeling real dumb
But
because
it's like that scene from Austin Powers. It's a big Johnson.
that's literally what Elon Musk's ships looked like. They looked like he just pulled it right out of
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. Yeah, shit's crazy. But anywho,
So
so yeah, Kryptonoid comes to life off of Reddit, has an entire cult-like following of mostly, let's be real, it's mostly like teenagers and 12-year-olds. Like,
yeah, I mean, it because is you know what? I don't even say this gingerly. They're very naive and very gullible. I mean,
we'll just put it out there. Kids are fucking stupid, and you should be watching what your kids are looking at on the internet.
pretty much. I mean, like when I was growing up, like I mean, I've been taking snipe hunting.
Back in my day.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, Ellie, I mean, now I don't know if the Amish did this for you, but I don't know if you've ever been snipe hunting or ever heard of snipe hunting.
That's when you go looking for like that big mythical bird from Up, right? They called it a snipe.
It's okay. So there's very many descriptions of what this animal is. But bird-like is correct. But
Okay.
yes, there's terms of a giant bird, like a big bird from Sesame Street. There's also like birds of that what looks like a dodo bird or like the Roadrunner or something like that. And if anyone's ever watched King of the Hill, when Hank took all the kids to go like on a Boy Scout thing, and they made them do snipe hunting, they fucking made them walk around singing. Had a fucking wampum stick. And they said you have to call out to the snipe, woo lulu, woo lulu. Yeah, that's Wimatanye. That's what. Yeah, the Wimatanye.
Did you have a whomping stick when you went snipe hunting?
No, I had these 2 hands.
Was it your dad or your brother? Do you have a brother?
I have a.
Who made you go?
I had a
made you
half
go
brother.
sniping?
It was. I believe it was me and my stepbrothers.
Stepbrothers always be out to get you, bro.
Yeah,
You need to learn.
But yeah. So Slenderman, I mean, he mainly preys on children, and what he does is he beckons them into the woods and invites them to kill to be initiated into his proxy. His modes and motives were always left like very ambiguous, but in many ways, like it was like not knowing any of the specific details about like his backstory, and so before
sounds very pedophile-y.
Oh, I honestly believe that's where like a true origin of it came about. So it's
giving pedophile.
It's giving it. I feel. Hold on. Epstein, is that you?
It smells Epstein-y.
It
It smells like Maxwell House.
Oh. And I promise you, Slenderman did not hang himself.
No, he did not.
But so the creator Knudsen, he said that before you had like angels and succubi, and then there was ghosts and spirits, and then today you have like shadow people and interdimensional beings, which that's a whole topic for another day, guys.
Because they're real.
They are real. But the Slenderman and the other newly created entities, if you will, are just the newest addition in this day and age is long and very real human tradition, because we like to make the whole folklore and we like to scare the piss out of the future generation and then put them into debt and make them fucking have anxiety and make them have crippling depression and
the real cryptids of society is anxiety and depression and crippling debt.
Literally.
The biggest horror story is the life of a millennial.
True life.
None of us will ever be able to afford a house.
Never. That's why, like, I rent my house, and I have people tell me all the time, they're like, "Oh, why do you rent your house? It's so much cheaper to buy a house." Where?
Bitch, no, it's not. Do you know how much work I have to put into my house to make it livable?
I work two jobs to live in a rent house.
I have to call a plumber, and it's going to be $900 just for him to come out here and look at a puddle on my floor and be like, "You got a leak."
Shit.
It's fucking insane. But I digress. Like, okay, but So here's my thing about like the new age, like cryptids and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So all of the like cryptids that we grew up with, they all have like legitimate backstories, histories, like vampires and zombies, and like they're all based off of like they're not necessarily just folk tales. Like they're stories that come from the old countries of like people who actually saw these things, like Wendigos. Them bitches are like Native Americans who
Yep.
sold their souls to the devil. Like that shit is fucking creepy. But now you have these just online personas, if you will, that just came out of nowhere, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we're here." Boo.
Yeah, they didn't even have to pay their like due diligence. They just like, oh hey, we
No,
exist. Like, no,
no,
get in
you did.
line.
Seriously, like go hang out over with the what's the Babadook.
The
That's
Babadook.
actually so. I feel like Slenderman is like the Wish version of the Babadook.
You know what? I never thought about that until now, and that is a very good comparison.
Right?
It's
Because
like
the
the American
Babadook,
version of the Babadook.
right? Because isn't that Russian
Yes.
or Slavic or something like that?
I mean,
It's from the old country.
in Soviet Russia, we have Babadook, while you have Slenderman. Let's see
In Soviet
where.
Russia, we have
Yeah.
Chernobyl.
Oh, damn. Duke come from. So let's see. Uh, I typed in the wrong thing.
Well, apparently it premiered at the
Nope.
Sundance Film Festival in 2014.
So okay, hold on. The Babadook actually is a Serbian folk tale, or
Ah,
yeah. So Russia, Serbia, kind of same, but different, but still same.
in the same geographical area ish.
Yeah, shitty,
Cold.
cold, and shitty.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so I mean
But
that makes sense. That checks out. Like Slenderman being like the American Wish version of what
yeah,
what the Babadook is was what Slenderman wish he could have been.
right. Because the Babadook was like the boogeyman, like, oh, I'm gonna hide under your bed and steal your kids. This guy's just luring people into the woods with candy and weird promises.
Which the other term for boogeyman is the Baba Yaga.
Well, no, Baba Yaga is
The
a
boogeyman.
witch. No, Baba Yaga is a witch, and it's a German witch.
They called John Wick the Baba Yaga because he is the boogeyman.
Okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
You're gonna say that Keanu Reeves is wrong?
Yes,
All of them.
he's still daddy, yo. He could get it.
He's the one for the reason.
The Baba Yaga is a Slavic folktale, a supernatural being who appears as a deformed and/or ferocious-looking woman, and she lives in this weird house with chicken feet.
So it can definitely be misconstrued as different things, but not which. It never said once which.
A deformed woman in the woods.
That's,
How is that not a witch?
That's half our fucking Congress.
You're not wrong, but I stand by what I said. She has a moving house with chicken feet. That is some witchcraft.
No, that was a claymation chicken run. They had chicken feet.
Overpaid, oversexed, and over here. I could quote that entire movie front to back.
I'm ready for
Fucking
this.
love that
I'm so
movie.
ready for the sequel.
Bruh, I'm hype.
Um,
That's right up there with Shrek as like a classic that I will forever watch on repeat when I'm sad.
we're starting to become like the ADHD, like what me and Zaga do. Okay.
But
Center.
anyway, back to Murkduk.
Okay. So, as Ellie and I were talking about earlier, that what spawned from this whole Slenderman or like creation and stuff like that is that the first big headline news for Slenderman was back in May of 2014, where there were three 12-year-old preteen girls that had a slumber party in Waukesha, Wisconsin. It's a suburb of Milwaukee. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's a suburb in Milwaukee. And the girl that was, her name is Peyton Lautner, no relation to Taylor Lautner.
As far as you know, they could be cousins.
Oh no, the last name is completely spelled differently, so they're definitely not.
Damn.
All
right.
But she was pretty much stabbed about 19 times with a kitchen knife by her two friends in the middle of the woods, where she was left bleeding from her arms, legs, and torso. And she managed to drag her own self to a path, and where a cyclist found her, and they were able to call 911. Pretty much, she went into.
Shout out to that cyclist though, because
no
she
shit.
actually would have died if they didn't find her.
Yeah.
Because she was in critical condition when she got to the hospital.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't, especially like up in Wisconsin where it gets cold, where like, I mean, you're losing that much of blood and your body's going into shock. She pretty much went into survival mode at 12 years old, and you go into survival mode like that. That is now a traumatic experience. I mean,
that bitch got PTSD for days.
Yeah, all her knives in her kitchen are now plastic.
If she has knives, maybe she only has sporks.
Maybe she only has spoons.
Spoons. And drinks bay leaves from a shoe.
But so the two girls did the killing. They attempted to murder. Attempted was Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire. They were arrested pretty much the next day. And when they were interrogated,
that bitch ratted so quickly.
Oh yeah,
she was like, "Nah, I'll tell you exactly who fucking did it."
You want to know what the fucked up part is? Is that the girl that they stabbed, their friend that they stabbed, they have no bad blood, and like the night before, they all went out for one of the girls that did the stabbing's birthday at a roller rink.
Yeah, but 12-year-old girls be on some bullshit, bro.
This is true. But,
they're fucking psycho.
Well, it wasn't like a spur of the moment deal. Like
no, it was very planned.
It was premeditated from December. So like for months, these two girls were like plotting this and pretty much just like preying on this girl, like their close friend, which is the fucked up part. And all they wanted was to become like proxies, as we were saying earlier, to join the Slenderman in his mansion in the woods. And they saw that their best friend was their ticket and stuff like that, which still blows my mind because they say this mansion, but nobody ever has like a description of said mansion. So it's just kind of like we're living on hopes and dreams here.
Living on a prayer.
Bon Jovi.
Well, so here's the thing too. So I actually heard, because as I was telling Oklahoma before we started this podcast, when this whole shenanigans was going down, is when I actually started to really get into true crime, and I kind of followed this story a little bit more so than I would pay attention to most things, which is not very closely because I'm an idiot. But anywho, so this girl Lautner, she was the backup plan. The first girl that they were gonna stab backed out.
So the girl knew about it?
No. The original girl that they were gonna stab, they just decided they weren't friends anymore makes sense because 12-year-old friendships are just kind of up, down, as fluid as water. They're friends one day and friends the next.
It's a Fugazi, it's a Fugazi, it's fairy dust.
Exactly, like fairy dust. So they initially had a different girl in mind, and I think Lautner knew a little bit that her friend, because Morgan Geyser was like the brains behind this whole thing. Mm-hmm. She was like the crazy bitch that was like, nah, I gotta get Slenderman. I want to go into his house. And Weiner?
Weiner?
We're
gonna go Weiner. We're gonna say Weiner. We're gonna go Weiner.
Wiener sounds better, but okay. So Weiner was just kind of there like, I think you're crazy, but I don't want to die, so I guess I'll go along with it.
Very impressionable.
Right. She was like more the impressionable friend, and she was just going along with it. Whereas my understanding is that Lautner knew that Morgan Geyser was a little bit, but just thought that was all it was, like that she was just crazy. And that ended up biting her in the ass.
Did you hear what Weiner said? Like as they were being interrogated?
What'd she say? Oh, that she regrets nothing and she'd do it again?
Didn't hear that part, but that's also a good one. But that she said that during the whole thing, like the planning and all that with Morgan, is that she was so excited because that they wanted proof that Slenderman existed because there was a bunch of skeptics saying that he didn't exist. So pretty much they were on this whole like, we're gonna prove you wrong, and we're gonna fucking stabby stab our really close friend and shit like that. And
The
then
fuck?
Weiner went on to say that her and Morgan were going to be like lionesses and hunt down Taylor, like, or chasing her down like a zebra. They were going to tackle her, and then, or Weiner did the tackling, Morgan did the stabbing. But what's even wilder is that, I mean, they tried the two girls as adults in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But Geyser, smart, was diagnosed, or I say she was smart, which I'm not saying she's dumb. She actually probably is pretty smart with this, but she was,
Or she's just a fucking idiot who decided to stab her friend.
well, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia because her father had it 10 years prior. So what the court ended up doing was that they found her that she was not criminally responsible for the stabbing due to mental illness. And experts argued that she suffered from like a shared delusional disorder and stuff like that.
But she was still sentenced to 40 years in prison.
Yeah, which is I mean, honestly, that's a light sentence.
Is it though? Because they were tried as adults, and the bitch didn't die.
So would that be like, since she didn't die, it's obviously it's attempted murder, but in what degree? Like,
well, so it would be attempted murder in the first degree because it was premeditated.
gotcha.
But because it was attempted murder, she shouldn't have gotten like a life sentence because she didn't actually kill anyone. And then the schizophrenia diagnosis on top of that should have gotten her an even lighter sentence if they proved that she was in fact crazy.
Oh, so wouldn't the whole premeditated part go into the case as well? Like, so it's attempted plus premeditated.
So I think that also varies state to state. That's one of those things that's not like it's federal law and then you mix in state law. So in that instance, I know like in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New England areas, that would be, so it would be premeditated attempted murder in the first degree is how it would read on like the court docket.
Okay. Didn't know that. Now I know.
Well, I have a useless degree in criminal justice, so I know a lot of dumb shit.
Well, that's why I was kind of like interested in taking on like this topic, is because it does deal with the whole like down the rabbit hole, and it deals with like spooky, and it does have a little bit of legality in it. So I was like, you know what, this is kind of a little home run there.
Yeah, it really is. It was wild to me that they were tried as adults, though.
I think
that's the part that gets me.
I think it's because of the severity.
I mean, granted, they did stab a bitch for 19
times. And it was premeditated.
With a paring knife.
Yeah, like, I mean, it premeditated. And that, I mean, it was pretty malicious. I mean, you can't say it wasn't. It was very malicious, and it's a very violent crime. So I think that's
100%.
And I think, like you said, depending on what's obviously state to state. So Wisconsin was probably more strict upon it.
Yeah. Well, Wisconsin's a red state, too. So they're like very much pro death penalty.
Yeah. That's how it is here, too.
Yeah, I mean, not that, I'm against the death penalty. I just feel like that it should be left up to the families of the victims.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Like, if I kill you, I feel like your stepbrother should be able to take me out the same way I took you out.
Trial by combat.
That's what I'm saying. Gladiators had it right.
So moving forward with the whole thing, like after the whole court case and stuff like that, of course, like Peyton's like near-death experience made like international like headlines, and that's like when I first, honestly, me personally, I started hearing about Slenderman, and so I looked into it, and like how Ellie said earlier, is that you should really watch like what your children are doing online, because it fueled parents to fear like the dark corners of the interwebs. Because I mean, as much as we like to deny it, I'm here to tell you, if you don't already accept it, the dark web does exist, and it is very, very scary, and it is very real.
And the worst part is how accessible it is. Like,
yeah.
So like my nieces are obsessed with Roblox, right? And I just learned recently that there is legitimate pedophile games on Roblox where, granted, you are supposed to be over the age of 18 before you can play these because they are adult games. Right. But I hopped on, like, I started going down the rabbit hole on it, and I actually downloaded Roblox so I could see, like, what the fuck my little nieces were able to see, and I was bamboozled. And I immediately went to their father, and I was like, block them, all of these. Go into their accounts.
End it now. End it now.
End it right today. There's one where they go into truck stop bathrooms and they make like their characters perform extremely sexual acts.
So it's like The Sims on crack.
It's like The Sims on crack, dude.
Oh,
It
pass, hard
I
pass.
I did not like. And on top of that too, so like I'm looking at some of the original like artwork for Slenderman right now, and
Hmm.
it is very like Slenderman's like kind of comforting these children, like holding them and like he's standing behind them, making sure like they're okay. Like that's creepy as fuck. It's almost
Grooming.
like right? It's like a
Hmm.
father figure taking care of like his gaggle of little demonoid children. It's fucked up. I don't like it.
Ooh. Um. But what? So like I had said earlier, the Slender Man like debacle like was very quick to be born, and even though it lasted up until 2018, I feel like that was still fairly fast the way it like kind of just like ended, because after that whole stabbing occurred and all that, it was like the final nail in the coffin, and which was of this whole internet meme, which you still see some of the memes like floating around and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
pretty much like that, the form that it originated from and it was created. They pretty much put out there, said, please don't kill anybody because of Slenderman. They pleaded, and then the Marble Hornets released its 2 final episodes of the whole miniseries a few weeks later, and that was it. But yeah, like I told Ellie earlier that there was other uh, killings that are like stabbings that had happened. Like this one I'm reading right now, it says in the June 5th of 2014, a woman in Ohio called the police after coming home from work and being attacked with a knife. The alleged attacker was the woman's own 13-year-old daughter, who, according to the mother, greeted her while wearing a hood and a blank white face mask. So pretty much cult-like tactic. And
Or just trying to disguise herself at like maybe embodying Slenderman.
I think, yeah, like just trying to like take on like that whole form, and
The persona,
there you
if
go.
you will.
Yeah. Um, and of course, the daughter was said to have had a history of mental illnesses and an obsession
Of
with
course.
Slenderman. So like it pretty much mimics the whole uh, geyser whiner uh, start of everything. The mother was later treated for wounds on her face, neck, and back. So I mean, she lived. But later that year, a single mother and her 9-year-old son woke up to a fire in their home in Florida. But the woman's 14-year-old daughter had started the blaze by lighting a bleach and rum soaked sheet on fire. Um,
She
I,
wasn't fucking around.
no, she went straight for the fucking pyro. But
She was like, this bitch is going to burn.
we don't need no water. Let the motherfucker
Fucking
burn.
burn.
So I was kind of hoping, reading the one about the fire, if there was any. It doesn't show to say if that one had any mental illness or anything like that, because that's what I was starting to kind of connect the dots on. Is that a lot of these were children that might have had like underlying mental health issues that their parents didn't know, and being that this internet craze and how susceptible that children are to like new information and like stuff like that, that's what the whole Slenderman persona panned to.
Well, I also feel like when you're a parent, so take this with a grain of salt, because obviously the only children I have 4 legs and tails. But I feel like when you're a parent, it's really hard for you to rationalize that your child could be that fucked up.
I don't.
Right? Because like I feel like if me as a sane individual, mostly sane, um, uh-oh, we have a guest. He has some shit to say.
I'm taking over real quick. I got something for down the rabbit hole. Taylor Swift is sabotaging the fucking Kansas City Chiefs. She is a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and she is going to break Travis Kelce's heart and ruin our goddamn season and our chance to win the fucking Super Bowl. You heard it here first, people. The Chiefs fan is saying it. But I do love Taylor Swift, so I really can't say too much here.
The microphone.
No, I won't.
Hey! I got a fun fact for you since you're here, just real fast for before you break off.
Here.
Oh,
He wants.
I forgot he can't. Just
There you go.
What happened?
I just real quick. I know you're only here for a guest. Like quick interruption. Just did you hear about the whole Taylor Travis thing? Did you know that Taylor Swift put Travis Kelce on the map for once?
You know what? At least I didn't lose my starting quarterback tonight, and I'm stuck with Mitch Trubisky.
He's only. We don't know. Look, you know what?
Wait,
Get off the
did you
mic.
guys? Who did you guys play today? That's what I thought.
This isn't even your show.
Get gone. Go.
Go away.
Go.
This is my segment.
We apologize about that, folks. For some reason, Zaga was let off his leash.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is wrong. I gotta check his chains. Gotta make sure those padlocks are nice and tight.
I'm telling you,
crazy people.
You definitely should have gave him a pink eye earlier.
I really should have. But he looks so peaceful when he's sleeping.
And then look what happened. And then look what happened.
Clearly, I fucked up.
You know he would have been disoriented had you farted on his pillow and gave him pink eye.
He would have been so disoriented, but we also wouldn't have been able to record because I don't know how to set any of this shit up.
We would have just went on Instagram and just did a live.
Honestly? Yeah. You're not wrong.
I'm not
and then
wrong.
we could have just recorded it and released it, and they could have had, like, just a replay of the bullshittery.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so back to what I was saying about the mental illness and the Slenderman cases. So I think that's, like, a two-part thing, right? Because, like, having your own child attack you and try and murder you, as a parent, I don't know if that they can, like, really justify that, like, in their brain. So I feel like part of it is they have to come up with some excuse as to why their kid is a fucking psycho.
I mean, and I've seen, like, court cases where, like, children have, like, done, like, very horrific things, and
oh, absolutely.
And they'll try to blame, like, I mean, they'll put on the mental illness, which and by no means am I saying mental illness is a joke. I fully am.
No, absolutely not.
Full disclosure, like, Ellie and I are both mental health advocates. If you feel like you're in a dark place, please seek help. Reach out to anybody. It doesn't matter. As long as you talk to somebody, don't do anything on a malicious, like, thought or, like, intrusive. Do not listen to intrusive thoughts.
The intrusive thoughts are lies.
Yes.
The intrusive thoughts are lies. Don't listen to them. But in that same instance, there are things that can occur in people's brain holes that make them want to do crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
And if your brain is telling you to go kill people, maybe you should pick up the phone, dial 988, and get connected with somebody who is a psychologist so you can go get some help. Because the intrusive thoughts are lies, and don't kill people. But also, there is something to be said, I feel like, too, about this generation where, because, I mean, our generation, we knew life before the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think kind of the indoor generation, if you will. So, like,
indoors. I'm sorry, SpongeBob just, like, repeats in my head, like, consistently.
I want to come into the out now. But, like, I feel like they get so wrapped up in, like, and to be fair, it is easy to get wrapped up in the internet, and, like, that's how we got down the rabbit hole, because your girl was unemployed and went in a dark spot and found a lot of dark shit on the internet. Like, that is what it is. But, like, they have such a hard time disconnecting reality from
fiction.
From fiction and the computer. Like, it's kind of crazy to me that, like, they don't understand the difference.
Like, oh yeah, like, separating that whole it's not even necessarily even a fine line per se. Like, I mean, just that connection of, like, fake and real. But I mean, like, and by no means am I even saying, like, I've never been susceptible to like, not believing something that is actually fake, but in my head I'm like, no, that's fucking real. I mean, we're all guilty of that, but there is, I mean, it's,
absolutely,
you gotta,
like, don't
like,
get me
find
wrong.
that line.
I'll go traipsing around in the woods in the dark right now. I don't give a shit. But best believe, if I hear what sounds like a Wendigo, I'm fucking running. I am leaving. No, sir, am I staying. But I am also the same person who, when we were in Vermont, I was traipsing around the woods in the dark by myself because my husband's a bitch and left me. And I found this creepy old cabin, and I did the basic white bitch shit. I walked right up inside the cabin, and I'm looking around. There was candles all around. There was a pentagram painted on the floor. There was crystals. My husband just left me there. I could have died. I didn't, but I could have.
And if you guys are, hold on, give me 1 second. I know there was hold on. I have it. It was not that one. I want to say it's episode 4, season 2 of Welcome to Fanboys. It might actually be no, actually, I think it's episode 8. Let me rephrase of Fanboys. Whereas, if you guys want a little bit of a backstory to that whole incident, go listen to season 2, episode 8 of Fanboys: Attack of the Bros with me and Zaga. He'll give you a little bit further insight, and then
there is no further insight. He was one of 2 brown people in a group of white bitches, and I decided I wanted to go for a walk in the woods. And he saw what he thought was headstones and dipped. It was not headstones. It was a septic line that was poking out. Like, you know, like the little well things that pop up. Yeah, it was like that shit. And he was just like, nope, not going in there. I'm brown. I'm going to be the first to die. And I'm just like, oh, look at this cool cabin. I'm going to go see what's in it.
In all fairness, being that far up north in the dark with white people, and you see what happens. Oh, white people. Oh, what's that weird noise? You know what we should do? We should go investigate that. And I'm guilty of that because I've done it. And
I do it.
Yeah. So when
unless it sounds like a Wendigo.
So like, I mean, like, for instance, this house is severely haunted. There were 18 people murdered. And then there was a murder unalive, I'm sorry, because of censorship and all that. And there are very angry spirits. Every white person ever in the history of white people. Let's go stay the night.
Yeah. I want to go hang out.
Yeah.
Guess what? Our wedding venue, super fucking haunted. Buckle up, Oklahoma. We're doing an investigation.
Paranormal investigation? There we go.
I'm bringing the spirit box and my pentagrams and my little doodads that do the yes or no answers.
The sticks?
Nah, it's the crystal thing. I can't remember. The pendulum. That's what
yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna I gotta start watching some paranormal investigation again. Since it's October 1st now.
Duh. Go watch some Zach Baggins.
Oh yeah.
The douchebag.
But we're rolling up on pretty much. We're gonna round it up to about an hour. I think Ellie and I have covered all of what is Slender and of the man.
Yes.
And that's a little play on words because fuck the man, and we did talk about Slenderman. So.
Yep. And also, watch what your kids are looking at on the internet. And
Bingo.
Once again, if you are thinking of harming people, yourself or others, immediately call someone and get the help because we don't need anybody else sacrificing their friends to Slenderman. That would just be sad.
And if you don't feel comfortable talking to anyone that you're close to, there, like how Ellie said earlier, there is a hotline that is open 24/7 with all very well trained professionals at, what was it, 488?
So
988.
in the Connecticut surrounding areas, it's 988. I don't know if it's the same over on your neck of the woods.
I'm going to look up 988 Oak. Oops.
And in full transparency, I've actually utilized that hotline before, and they are very helpful individuals, and they do help you get in touch with services that you need, services that will help you for like therapy and things of that nature. And if you need to, they'll hook you up with a 7-day vacation in the Grippy Sock Hotel.
So I just, God damn it. Just to clarify, 988 works, from what I'm seeing, it works in all regions of the United States. Our listeners in the UK, I do not know what it is. I don't know what telly you have to ring, but the 988 here in the United States works apparently in every single state. So if you have anything that is weighing heavy on your mind, whether it be suicidal thoughts, whether it be wanting to hurt other people, anything like that, if you're just having a rough day, please reach out to somebody for any mental health potential issues. You are wanted. You are not a burden. Please seek help if you feel like you are in turmoil.
100%. Couldn't have said it better. And with that, we will be signing off. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. It really has been a rabbit hole of events.
And now as we surface back to the top, we hope that you guys enjoy the rest of the spooky season with us. Be looking forward to the rest of our episodes of all having spooky aesthetics throughout every single episode from here on out. But it's been great having you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Nick the Oklahoma.
And I'm Ellie the Witch.
And thanks for coming down the rabbit hole with us.
Catch you later.
Later.